What's going on, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Welcome to Texas Podcast. Thank you for all the day ones, all the new subscribers, all the likes, all the comments, all the feedback. Man, thank you so much. It's greatly appreciated. How's everybody out there doing on this beautiful, very hot Friday in Texas, right? It's hot. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. We're pretty sure we're gonna start reaching into the triple digit any day now. So just how to address a few of these shenanigans that you got a lot of these characters partaking in, right? And they don't see that a lot of the stuff they're doing is just like degenerate, opportunist. Okay, hold on, yeah. Almost a hypocritical person, right? I don't understand how people can align with people when the same type of people done doxed, harassed their family members. I don't. Other than being a degenerate opportunist and a hypocrite, right? That's the only thing that I can see. That you speak about one person one day, and the next day you can speak about him totally different. That's hypocritical, man. Like you're a hypocrite, right? And you're a degenerate because you lowered your standards on what you thought was right at the beginning. But that's everybody, man. Everybody that's on this mark thing, everybody has their own agenda, right? Everybody has their own narrative of what they want out of it. But in the process of them doing that, all they're doing is just showing their true nature of color of who they really are. You let nature take its course and time will tell, right? It's like the chameleon, man. It's like they go back and forth, back and forth. Example, right? I seen Grim and Youngblood going at it, right? They're going at it because, I guess Youngblood started going over there and kicking it with Mark and they started kumbaya and uh, making s'mores at the camp out. But Grim's mad at Youngblood because he's over there. But how many times have all these guys been on panels with Mark? You've aligned yourself with the enemies, the predators, as you would say. And then you're getting mad at another guy because he talks to Mark, while you himself inserted yourself. Everybody else is riding Dante's wave, right? Bandwagon. Everybody wants to ride that coattail. Everybody. Everybody, man. Instead, I would understand, be like, hey, fuck it, man. I'm gonna go create my own channel. And that's why I kind of respect God Soldier, man. He got tired of getting bashed, getting muted, getting kicked out. He said, fuck him, I'm gonna go host my own channel. Even through God Soldier was a bootlicker, still aligning himself with the predators, right? Now, all of a sudden, everybody wants to distance themselves and be the voice of the victims. Everybody wants to be on the right side team, right? Everybody wants to be on the A team. Everybody wants to ride the coat wave. If Dante was saying Mark was guilty, let's all say Mark was guilty. Let's ride Dante's wave. If the daddy says now that he's innocent, then we got to say he's innocent. To be, would you it's the same shit Dante's doing, right? Flip flopping. One day Dante's saving him, the next day he's bashing him. It's the same thing, tomato, tomato, right? What's going on, Jojo? What's going on, bro? So I couldn't expect, nothing different. Everything that's come into place, I let nature take its course, right? But it's not like I wasn't aware of what happened. That's why I started distancing myself, right? I started distancing myself. Once I started seeing too many red flags, I started distancing myself, right? Out of sight, out of mind, right? When you don't want to talk to that girl no more, you just don't answer the phone calls, you just don't text, and you just out of sight, out of mind, right? Hopefully they'll move on, and they won't blow up on your phone anymore. You can't be too much of a asshole to them, right? You just let nature take its course, out of sight, out of mind. And by you letting nature take its course, you see people's true intentions and true colors. People are going to stick to their people, right? I can't expect a black man to come on my platform and bash his fellow brothers, right? I was kind of odd at that. I was kind of, surprised. So I was kind of, on the fence. But like I said, nature take its course, and you'll see the sunlight. So it's the same type of behavior, man. It's degenerate, opportunist, chameleon. And nowadays, it's that say, you let a man speak enough, long enough, man, you know if he's full of shit or not, man. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. If you wanted to speak for the victims, everybody should have got their platform, their own channel, and said, "Hey, man, look, this is my narrative over here." But when you look to jump on another man's bandwagon and you switch sides over day and night, credibility is out the window, right? Credibility is out the window. You can't really take anybody serious when they don't stick to their guns. Yeah, I do too, man. I don't understand that, man. That's why I can, I will never rock with them. That's why I just distance myself and just ignore them. I don't entertain them. Uh, that's what a lot of people are lacking, man. Integrity and common sense. Common sense is what a lot of people are lacking. Integrity, man. Integrity. And then to put the odds out there that every white boy is being a boy, and then majority of the blacks are the predators, you're putting yourself in the equation that just doesn't add up, man. You know, all this flip-flopping, it's like, man, you know, it starts making people question, man, you got skeletons in the closet as well? Because because you're in the religion doesn't mean, I mean, I've seen a lot of these dudes that were in that religion, they're not really, you know. And you had, what's that guy's name? Big Nooney or Nooney, Big Mooney from Alabama. I think he's a Muslim too, right? He's a bean pie. He's a bean pie. The Al-Zoots. I don't know, man. I just don't see how people can contradict themselves and still be like, still claim to be on the right path or speak the truth. Credibility, man. When it's like perfect. I'm gonna put it to you like this, man. If you're in the trial scenario or in the courtroom scenario, the main state's witness comes up and says, "Hey, I seen the perpetrator do this. I seen the perpetrator do that. I seen him do this." And then the district attorney gets wind of you hanging out with the perpetrator, having a good old time, having a kumbaya, making a s'mores at the camp out. The district attorney is going to be like, man, that guy's statement's worthless. It's unreliable. I'm not even going to take the chance of putting the guy on the stand now. Why? For he can do a little Woody? That's what it seems it is. It's like a little Woody type of move. But that's this new culture, man. It's this culture of being an opportunist. And I guess people really don't look at themselves and be like, man, that term degenerate. You see, if you describe a person or their behaviors as degenerate, you disapprove of them because you think they have low standards or behavior or morality. A group of degenerate computer hackers, right? I don't got nothing wrong with computer hackers. I got the degenerate, opportunist, hypocritical type of guys. You know, the ones that see an opportunist and they jump on the bandwagon to float their boat. Those are the ones. And guys like God Soldier and Grim, white guys, right? White guys. And I had to take a Mexican from Texas to speak up for y'all guys. Because y'all wouldn't speak up for y'all. Y'all would rather align yourselves with the predators. Y'all rather align yourselves with them. Instead of saying, you know what, man, we some stomp down white boys, man. We ain't gonna let that shit ride. They hate y'all for what y'all ancestors did to their ancestors. Right? To this day, they still want retributions. And you, as a Caucasian male, your fellow Caucasian counterparts are going through the blues at the hands of these guys. And what do y'all do? Support Dante, right? Go over there and support Dante, a guy that says, you know what? I don't care what happens to the black man in prison. I don't care what happens to the white man at the hands of the black man. I don't care. And what did y'all do? Y'all just swallowed that. Y'all just swallowed that. Not a peep, not even the argument, not even the rough. I got more offended. I got offended that I had to speak up for y'all. Because when he said that, he's referring to everybody that's not his tone color. I fit in that category, right? I fit in that category of having a lighter skin tone. So it bothered me. And what did y'all do? Go over there and lick the boots, man. Y'all licked the boots of the man. Obliging, cheerleading, going along, hosting panels with Mark this, Mark that. Y'all need to look at yourselves in the mirror, man, and ask yourselves, are y'all really man? And then if y'all are Christian or religious, man, ask yourselves that too. Y'all need to ask that stuff, man. Because if I would have seen somebody, reading the Quran or the Bible to Mark or some Bible verses, man, I'd be like, man, hey, he's trying to convert the man. But all I seen was kumbaya, right? And you have to question those modems, to be like, so everything you said was for entertainment purposes. But these are the same guys that doxed you, right? Called your daughter and called your workplace, just basically harassing you, right? Intimidating you. And instead of standing up and saying, man, you know what? I would never align myself with these characters. You aligned yourself with them. They ain't no better than them now. You're no better than them. That's why I had to start distancing myself months back. Right? I'm the one that started distancing myself, right? And the reason was you got to let nature take its course. What the cat's gone, the mice come out and play, right? So that's what I did, right? Out of sight, out of mind. And what did they do? Show their true colors. But see, that's accepted. It needs to stop being accepted, man. It needs to stop being accepted, regardless of color, man. Regardless of ethnicity, it shouldn't matter, man. It shouldn't matter. But at the hand and moment, we're talking about Alabama prison. Mark Moore, right? Mark Moore is still a monster, right? He still did what he did on that documentary. It is what it is. But it shows the true nature of people when people see an opportunity to gain either views, followers, money, that they lose all integrity, man, all morals. So when you call somebody a degenerate, man, that's one of the fucking worst causes. I mean, I got mad when they called Thongo Blast a bunch of degenerates, which we're not. Right? I got offended, man, when somebody said Thongo Blast was a bunch of degenerates. And I made a response video to it. But if the shoe fits, you have to wear it. And all this is just people's actions, man. You know what I mean? It's a lot of these guys say, "Oh man, we were rocking with you." I don't need you to rock with me, man. I just need you to do the right thing for your people and for yourself. Don't do it for me. Don't. I don't need you to align yourself with me, man. Because just because you believe on certain things, majority of this stuff, I disagree with y'all. So just because you hate Mark and I hate Mark, that's not going to be our common bond, right? It's like we can have it. I can still hate you and Mark. Y'all are my enemies. Y'all created me. I'm y'all's enemies now. So I'm gonna have to be calling y'all out on what it is. Y'all can't just switch sides, man, and be like, hey man, we're on the good side now. Well, all this time, y'all were on panels defending Mark. Defending Mark. And then there was other guys that were going against Mark, right? Attacking Mark. And now all of a sudden, it's overtime and the cat left, right? The main cat, right? He left. All the mics started gathering, started cahooing. What can we do? What can we do? What's the next best thing? Well, Dante, I think you got to be the one that has to be the exposer. You got to be the savior. You're the one that has to get on that white horse and say, hey man, we called that Mark. But see, everybody's too worried about what Mark's doing, right? Instead of calling out people for what they're really doing. What happened to holding people accountable, man? Exactly, bro. That's what people don't understand, that everything that Mark said is being used against him. Nobody's making shit up. Everything that I say about Dante is his own actions, everything that comes out of his mouth. Everything that I bring up about somebody, it's their own actions of what they said. I'm not. Maybe if I would start making shit up on people, I'll probably have more content and more views, right? But the honest truth, people don't like the reality. They don't like to hear the truth. I don't need to explain myself to anybody, man. When you bring facts, when you bring facts, when you bring facts to me, I'll join your panel. More than welcome. When you have facts. Until then, why would I entertain a bunch of degenerate, coward, opportunist, spineless? Why? Why? Why would I align myself? Why would I even entertain y'all? I'm happy on my own channel. I'm not a coward that I'm going to lower my standards to ride a wave with y'all, or to align myself, or to be like, hey, I got to be a part of your crew. One deep. And all y'all can say is, you don't come over here to bring me facts. When you do bring me facts, which y'all haven't, right? All y'all have brought is fucking cases out y'all's asses that try to fit y'all's agenda. Bring me facts. When you bring me facts, I'm more than welcome to have a cordial dialogue with you. Facts, right? That's what I do. I don't entertain false narrative. Y'all get in y'all's feelings because I hit y'all with the truth. I hit y'all with what y'all said. You God soldier, your own words. You are a dolphin. I said junkie. You like young girls. You said it in your own. You want me to post the video? Do you want me to post the video where you said that it's okay to date young girls? So you agree with that? You must have forgot, right? That you said that shit, right? That you like young girls. There's nothing wrong with young girls. Give them a piece of meth and you get them. Ain't that what you said? Do you want me to upload that part? You must not forget what you say. I guess by you saying that, I guess I was supposed to agree with you, right? I guess I was supposed to, yeah. You're a fucking idiot. I don't know why you would jump on somebody's other platform and say those kind of statements. You just look like a fucking smoked out meth head. But what's up? What's up, Degenerate? I have to, bro. It's because it's enough of their agenda, man. It's enough of their false spew hate. I'm tired of that. People have to be called out for who they are. I mean, bring me actions, bring me videos, bring me black and whites, and then we can talk about anything you want, man. I've been an open book. I've never ran, never denied. Uh, I've always kept it 100, man. Always. Now, if you can prove me other, man, come on. I challenge you. I challenge you to bring facts to the table with me. And then I'm open. I'm an open book. But you can't, right? Because y'all succumb to pulling out people that look like me. Like, oh, this is the well when he was 19 years old. Right? He got 10 years. He's convicted. But why don't you do your homework and bring the facts? That's all I ask. You want me to step into a courtroom with false facts? Give me a fair trial. Bring me the facts. Bring me the facts. Y'all been talking about this shit for like 6 months and no facts. I've been talking about Mark. I brought y'all facts. And I continue to fucking dissect y'all. I continue. Y'all don't have nothing, man. What do y'all got? I challenge y'all. Do your homework. Bring facts. We can either do it whatever way you want to do it. We can do it live, over the phone, or just a recording me and you. Whoever got facts, bring them. Facts. Not no made up shit, man. That to me is like, that's what I don't entertain it, man. I don't entertain it. Right? Everything y'all say will be used against you in a court of law. But y'all like to ramble, just like God Soldier. God Soldier went on my platform and said he liked them young girls and getting them high off of meth, running trains on girls, right? All methed out. These are his statements. These are not my statements that I'm making shit up. I'm not saying God Soldier. No, I'm saying God Soldier. You said this. You must not remember. Lay off the bottle and lay off the pipe. Lay off the glass. Lay off of it, man. There is a tomorrow. There is a tomorrow. Lay off of it, man. Stop living your day like there ain't no tomorrow. 5 years from now, your liver's going to be, you're going to be right sitting next to Mark right there on that dialysis. Keep it up. Keep it up. I don't understand how you can talk about God and be intoxicated like a mug, man. I understood God drunk wine. I understood, I understood God drunk wine, but he also didn't drink wine to get intoxicated and talk out his ass. All right. Ain't nothing wrong with drinking, man. But it seems like you get drunk to get that liquor courage in you and speak on what you feel. You need that devil juice. I call it that devil's piss. That's devil's piss. You know what I mean? You need the devil's piss to get in you. Right? Because once you get that devil piss in you, them little horns come out on you. Your eyes get red. It's because that devil piss is in you, right? And your true nature comes out. Listen, God. Listen. Like, go sit your drunk ass down, sober up, come back tomorrow, man. Game over. End of show. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to put up with the drunk. How many times did Dante mute you, ban you? And what did you go do? Go ask for more. Give me more. Give me more. Instead of saying, you know what, man, fuck these dudes, man. These dudes really don't like me. And Grim, another white dude, right? This dude was supposed to be, I don't know, I think he was incarcerated in Alabama, right? Ain't too many stomp down white dudes in Alabama. So, I mean, everybody's throwing numbers out there, people saying that all the white boys were victims and 85 to 95% of the blacks were predators. Well, fuck, man, that leaves a very small percentage of guys that weren't doing it. But then everybody around the circle is a monster. Fuck, it's like so if 85 to 95% are monsters, so that means when you go to the fucking chow hall and you sit at 3, 4 man table chair. What are the possibilities of 3 dudes being bandits? That's 75%, right? Where's the other 10%? I don't know, man. It's just you got to speak up on how it is, man. If it looks like a duck and it sounds like a duck and it walks like a duck, then at the end of the day, it must be a duck. Yeah, I think he's back there from the backwoods, man. Backwoods, Tennessee. At the backwoods of Tennessee. I just don't get it, man. People lose their integrity. All for what? All for what? To be part of the crowd? It's so sad that, man, at such a late age are followers. But like I've always said, it does. It does, Barabbas. It does. It does. Because if everybody that now is saying Mark is a monster, why didn't they agree from the beginning? Why didn't they agree from the beginning and say, all the people that are saying Mark is a monster now, why did everybody have to go against me? Why couldn't they just agree from the beginning? God soldier, ain't nobody backing off of you except Mark, man. Mark and them brothers over there are the only ones backing up off of you, man. You think I care about a white boy being on my back? You're gonna be too busy being on your knees for me to worry about you being on my back. Go down, go suck a bottle, man. Or go sit on the bottle and suck your thumb for a little bit, man. You're in timeout. I'm gonna have to start doing to you like how we do them in Texas. Go sit down over by the pisser and get the after splash. That's what you like. You like being abused and submissive. And you like being the blunt of the joke, right? It doesn't bother you. So go sit over by the pisser and let us get our giggles. I know God soldier people is good people, man. But you support people that support Mark, right? You rock with Dante, you rock with Jude, you rock with all these characters that were supporting Mark. So if you support them, then you're part of the problem, man. You're part of the problem as well. Because you being a white dude, that's your fellow man that's being done to, man. They're the ones that are being. Let me see if I got the picture still, man. Let me see. Because I had to delete some pictures. Right there. You see what you see what your fellow white man goes through? Do you see what your fellow white man goes through? Look what your people were going through, man. Look, that could be your brother, your cousin, your son. Don't you got a son? Don't you got a son that could end up on the backside of track, man? A DWI? You don't see what happens to them, man? And this is happening now. This is recent, right? This is recent. They hate your ancestors for what your ancestors did to them, right? Hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And they take it out on you. What do you think that guy's justification is for having him on the leash right there? You know what? You know what they all say? This is how you had our ancestors, right? Isn't this how you had our ancestors? And that sucks. Guys like you and Grimm are paying the piper for something your ancestors did. And it's sad to say, instead of you white boys up there speaking up for your people, you align with these guys. You support them. I don't support Mark, but I support Dante that was supporting Mark. How the fuck? How degenerate and hypocritical and opportunist is that? So you're bending your morals. I hate Mark, but I love Dante. So I'm gonna roll with the boat. I'm gonna participate on the panels and I'm gonna be there. But at the same time, y'all were beefing because young blood. It's like everybody's a fucking degenerate. Everybody's fucking lowering their morals and standards to fit their agenda or to jump on the bandwagon. Does this bother you, God Soldier? Does this bother you? Because I guarantee you, their justification is this is what your ancestors did to my people. This is our get back. Get out the way. Move. How do you feel? Right? And you continue to align yourself with people that supported this guy. I wasn't doing nothing different. I was exposing the truth on Mark. I wasn't bothering nobody else. Everybody else that dislikes me right now was because they were defending Mark or people that was defending Mark, right? Like God Soldier. Oh, I don't support Mark, but you support Dante and June. And they supported Mark at one time. And they still do, right? So that makes you part of the problem. But once again, you're a fucking degenerate. Right? Man, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all are helping me with my vocabulary. Thank y'all so much, man. It's a blessing in disguise. I have to think, do my research on how to call y'all what y'all are. That's the thing. To me, it was never about race, man. To me, it was always about right or wrong, man. It's like, regardless of race, no man should be going through that, man. Nobody signed up for that shit, man. Nobody signed up for it. And the way it bothers me, man, because me being 19, I could have probably been a victim, right? If somebody didn't take the liking to me and would have let me crashed out, I could have probably fucking been a victim, man. Maybe of my own fucking ways of not learning the prison system. Or just, somebody could have not liked me and said, you know what, man, fuck that dude. Prison is a wild environment, man. So I wouldn't wish that upon nobody, man. That's like, according to Hips, I felt, like I've said it before, I felt vulnerability before. Not in those circumstances, but when people have, tools to your head and chest, uh, You're vulnerable, man. You're in a vulnerable position that you can't say nothing and it just, you know, basically plead, right? Tell them you respect the game, you respect the hustle, and just to let you make it. Because you got to let them know, hey, look, man, look, I respect the hustle. Just let me make it. It is what it is. Y'all got me. Hey, let me make it. And now it's going to be up to them, if they want to let you make it or not, right? But at least you told them, hey, let me make it, man. It is what it is. I respect the hustle. Because that's what comes with the streets, right? You sometimes you might become the apex predator, or sometimes you get the shit stick of the deal, man. You might end up becoming the victim. But I've never been shot. I've never been stabbed. So I ain't got no scars from anybody that, busted anything on my head or anything. Uh, and that's not to say that I wasn't involved in that type of shit. I mean, I know other people have scars of me for me, right? But I've been blessed. The only scars that I got are for medical procedures, right? But I just don't understand the contradiction of so many people. You know what I mean? Nobody has the. I'm sticking to my guns no more, man. Like my word, this is my word, and this my word is bond. There's no more deals just done by even a simple handshake, man. There ain't no more deals like that no more. Everybody, even if you do a handshake deal, somebody end up taking you to court because there ain't no paperwork, right? That dude will try to get over you and be like, aha, you should have signed a contract. I'm getting this for free, right? There's no more, man. No more. And it's always people always bend, lower their morals or standards to go with the in crowd or be part of the wave. Man, there's a lot of dudes. There's a lot of dudes that support Mark, right? There's a lot of white dudes. I think even there. And the sad about it, man, that there's a lot of females. There's a lot of females that are delusional, right? I call I call I call them females. I call them viejas boludas. And there's a lot of these viejas boludas on YouTube that are looking for self confirmation from others, right? Like I don't understand with these females as well. They're delusional, right? You see them in the comments dying, thirsty females for attention from males. And I'm like, man, who's cooking for the kids? Who's cleaning? Who's maintaining the household? Because you're not just on this channel. You're on fucking multiple channels throughout the day. A lot of these females, and these are the same females that are supporting people that support Mark. Delusional, right? But they go over there and they get their little thirst quenched, right? They get the leftovers of other races that say, man, we don't want you. You can keep it. We respectfully decline. We don't want it. Y'all can have it. And that's why we call them viejas boludas. Well, at least I do with my homeboys. You know what I mean? We call them viejas boludas. I think maybe another place they call them tortas. And it's like a lot of these females are it's like, go home and tend to your flock. Go home and tend to your den. Stop being in men's conversations. I remember when the girls would just stay in their place, right? But now all these females gravitate to YouTube because just like they're thirsty, there comes another thirsty motherfucker. How you doing, baby? You looking mighty fine. And in reality, bitch is fucking hideous. Like, don't lie. You don't gotta compliment these females, man. But once again, a lot of these guys are degenerates. They lower their standards, right? That's the thing about us. We don't lower our standards, right? We don't. I know at least I don't. And me personally, the people I talk to and surround myself, we don't lower our standards. It's like Dante, man. He had every opportunity to do the right thing. Every opportunity. Every opportunity. All right. To do the right thing. But now, when you try to smut a person up, dox, smut, and try to run any kind of narrative you want, just like you're trying to do it on Mark now, right? But see, by you doing that shows your true nature. Because what you did to me, people didn't see it, right? They just ran with it, right? But people are actually seeing your true nature right now because people are not blind. People can see that you were defending Mark to the death. And now all of a sudden, you're the savior for the victims. You're going to bring the victims out. You're going to show you're going to show Noel how to bring the victims out. Even though you're the same guy that was victim shaming, man. Oh, poor David Mendenhall. The story of David Mendenhall is one. Can you imagine going through that, man, and losing your daughter? No wonder. No wonder in that interview, Mendenhall says, man, there was times I would be walking questioning God, why? Crying. Why? Poor kid, right? 6 years old, David Mendenhall was abused by an uncle, right? Poor David Mendenhall was a victim at 6 years old, man. At 6 years old, David Mendenhall was a victim. He started his fucking life as a victim, man. 19, he's in prison with Mark. Can you imagine that guy suffered all his life, man? He suffered all the way from 6 years old to maybe when he was able to tell the guy to stop it. When was in? How old was David Mendenhall when he told his uncle enough is enough and he stopped being a victim? And then an accident puts him back in the position to be another victim for another 20 years. And what did you say? He got what he deserved. But at the same time, comforting the ex-wife that was convicted of the crime as well. They were both convicted of the same crime. But you're comforting one and telling the other one, oh yeah, he got what he deserved. Why? Because it fits your agenda of Mark, of being Mark. Well, that's what we want Mark, people like Mark to do, right? Yes, I agree. People like that, should get the shit stick of the deal. Yes. But when you look at the details, but see, you don't deal with facts. You don't like diving into the facts and reading stuff, right? And analyzing and looking at all the possibilities, right? You're a simple-minded guy that wants to fit your agenda of Mark being innocent. So you try to discredit everything about David Mendenhall as him being a victim. Even through David Mendenhall was a victim at a very young age, at 6 years old. And now all of a sudden, you want to come up and speak up for the victims. What are you goddamn beer cats? All sophisticated and intelligent, like if it's the corrupt the system, right? No, she was guilty. She got convicted of the crime. But what did you do? Yep. But see, I'm not gonna get off of Mark. Because Mark has always been the target, man. Mark has always been the content. Everybody that dislikes me was because they were supporting Mark. If they weren't personally supporting Mark, they were personally supporting somebody that supported Mark. So if you support somebody that supports somebody that's against your morals and beliefs, you distance yourself from them, right? You distance yourself from them. Be like, all right, man, look, a nice meeting y'all, nice kicking it with y'all, man, but I'm gonna come over here and find like-minded people. I thought y'all were like-minded people, but after dealing with y'all, man, it's not for me. Right? You're still supporting. Same thing what NS did, right? NS distanced himself and he made Dante distance himself, right? By NS making Dante distance himself, Dante still wanted to have some kind of control over Mark. So that's when he inserted June. Out of everybody else, he felt June was the most qualified, right? To insert and be Mark's manager, right? He still wanted to control Mark, right? Even through his best, I don't know if it's his best friend, but I would consider his best financial supporter. It's not supporting with him. So Dante said, you know what, man, I got to distance myself from Mark and put a front man, a middleman, to where I can still have some kind of control. Basically, no different than what Mark did with Mendenhall, right? When Mark left Limestone, he left his boys in charge of Mendenhall, right? Why? Because if Mark returned, Mendenhall was going to give him his boys back. Same thing. If June was able to succeed with Mark, Dante was going to have the opportunity to step back and get the boy back, right? I'm going to get my boy back. I'm back. It's the same thing, man. It's the same. That's why a lot of people got to open up their eyes that Dante and Mark are one of a hand. They're cut from the same cloth, right? As you would say. They use the same tactics, right? One tactics is an incarcerated, and this other one takes advantage of the people that are not too aware of the social media, right? On how the social media works, right? So it's two different worlds, right? Dante cannot survive in Mark's world, and Mark cannot survive in Dante's world, right? So they both exploited the weakness and the vulnerability of everybody. And what was it for? Mark, it was for Zuzus and Wham Whams and sexual favors. Dante, subscribers and views and monetary gain. The common denominator, money, right? They both profited monetary from their victims. Right? Mark had his victim's family members sending him cash app to his accounts, right? Dante, he was charging people $50 to join the panel, run intimidation, delusional, deceit, tactics, exploitative tactics, right? Offered monetary gain. So if you look at both of them and their tactics, the grooming, because that's what Dante does, groom. He sits there and tells these guys what to do, what to say, what not to say. You heard what Mark said. So the definition of grooming is somebody walking you through of what to say and what not to say, right? What did Mark say? I know all that stuff behind the scenes of what to say. That's grooming. That's grooming, right? Ain't no different than what Mark was doing to grooming them boys in there, right? What is Dante out here doing? He's grooming them for his own narrative and agenda. They're both a predator, just in different environments. They're both apex predators, just in different environments, right? Just like there's apex predators in the oceans, there's apex predators in the air, there's apex predators on the ground. But they have the same hunting tactics, same boot game, right? Marx is called the boot game. Dante's is the social media boot game. It all evolves around the same tactics, right? Intimidation, right? What do? They dox me, right? False allegations, right? What did Mark do to his victims? The threatening of physical force, right? I'm gonna break your jaw. Physical violence was threatened upon. Same intimidation, bully tactics to get what they want, right? They're cut from the same cloth. They're both exploitative apex predators for their own self-monetary gain. You got to call it for what it is, man. Because Dante's not doing it for the kindness of his heart. So all of a sudden, you think this guy cares about the victims? No, he sees the possibility and the potential, right? I had to come out of pocket to bring y'all an unedited version, right? The more horrific end of it, right? Because the part 2 is actually play by play. Play by play. How he lays him down, walks him through the panic attack, breathe in, breathe out. All this is a self-admitted tape. Anywhere you go, man, I don't care what you say. That tape gets played in the courtroom, you're convicted of any fucking charge they decide to give you. Anything. Right? Because it's coming out of your mouth. You're in front of a camera. Nobody's holding nothing to you. You're not being forced. Matter of fact, you got fed. You had a full tummy. Even then, right? Even when I brought the most horrific part out, that the guy likes for the guy to go defecate after he plucked him, after he dumped the load on him, the guy goes defecates and Mark backdoors him again. That wasn't horrific and gruesome and disgusting for enough people to say, man, we need to distance ourselves from this guy. Instead, y'all double down and continue to spin any kind of narrative upon me, right? For what? For at the end of the day, y'all can come to the same conclusion and say, what, Noel was right? Mark's the apex predator. But by doing that, you also confirm that Dante's an apex predator as well that exploits people to his advantage. So that's why, I like letting nature take its course. My son, he got in trouble, right? He got in trouble. I went, and before I knew he was going to catch a case, I tried to save him, right? I tried to tell him, come home, come home, come home, right? You're going to get yourself in a jam. You're going to get yourself in. I try to do my part as a father and somebody that experienced it, right? I try to intervene, right? which in nature's course, you shouldn't, right? Because the way he was at the moment, if I really wanted to intervene and brought him home forcibly, that motherfucker would have shot me, right? He would have shot me, right? Because I'm right there talking to him and I can see the look and I can see the way he is, right? He's not all there, right? So if I wouldn't have let nature take its course, I would have put my life right there. He would have probably shot me, man. Right? So what I do, I said, man, look, I love you. You don't want to come home, that's you. You know. And what happened? He gets into a pursuit, where they were about to kill the guy, right? So if I felt the same vibe right there when I was going to try to interfere him and try to bring him forcibly home, right? I knew that. I felt the vibe, I felt the tension, and I'm like, man, this guy might fucking shoot me, man, if I try to fucking take that gun away from him. Because he had the gun on his lap. So if I would have interfered with nature, because nature wanted him to go to jail, probably, right? He didn't want to listen to me or whatnot. So nature's like, don't intervene because it can cost you your life, right? He's not right. Let nature take its course. Even that it's going to hurt you, that he gets jammed up, you interfering is going to hurt you more. Because at the end of the day, when he's sober, he's not going to he's going to regret what he did, right? So I didn't insert myself in nature. I let nature take its course, right? So sometimes it's just better just to let nature take its course. So a lot of stuff, man, a lot of stuff that they said about me, they said a lot of stuff that I try to pin charges on my son and I try to throw my son to the bus that I was driving. Like, they don't even know half of the story, what the story is true. But that's why I don't deal with fucking fake stories, man. Like, if you really want to know the truth, man, you can just ask me, man. But y'all have lost that opportunity. Every single one of y'all are my ops. I will never sit at a table with y'all. I will never break bread with y'all. I would rather go without before I sit at a table with y'all. I don't bend my morals. I can't see myself as a degenerate, as a degenerate. You know what I mean? I can't. I've always been a real to myself, to my family, to my loved ones, and to the people I call my friends. Right? If I call you a friend, man, that means you're my friend, man. I it 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 it. I'm the type of guy, man, that if I call you my friend, you're my friend, man. And I'm gonna go to bat for you. And by me doing that, I don't do that just for anybody, man. I don't do that just for anybody. I don't gravitate to too many people, man. I don't gravitate. It's very far in between that you meet like-minded people that you can hold conversations with, man. Very far in between. So for guys like Dante and Mark, they should have just stuck together, man. They got the same tactics. Dante calling what's that saying? Dante, it's like calling the kettle black. You know what I mean? Or Dante's the same thing, man. He's a person that exploits the vulnerable and the weakness for his own advantage. He puts all these people together to argue and fight. All these people that are arguing and fighting amongst each other are all because of Dante setting everything in motion, right? All his narratives of everybody, right? So all his followers say, well, if Dante says it, it must be right. God soldier. How can I rock with somebody that supports somebody that I don't support? That'd be me. That'd be me being hypocritical, right? For me to call you my friend while you associate with people I don't associate myself with, for you to come and talk to me and they go talk bad about me to them, is that what I want you for? Is that so? Basically, you want me to accept moles and double agents into my inner circle. You want me to be a degenerate. You want me to lower my standards. And just to be the peacemaker and be civilized and everybody be kumbayaing, I have to agree. I have to. Mark has always been guilty. That's what I don't understand, why these guys all of a sudden want to say he's apex predator. These are the same people that attacked me. That attacked me for speaking the truth on Mark Moore. Yeah, you can't do that. I mean, you know, just imagine somebody telling you the most horrific stuff, man. Spinning narratives on YouTube where people are going to watch stuff, man, and people form their own opinion of what they watch on the news. That's why it's important to do your homework, man, and do your due diligence. Do your research. Everything that I've done and brought to YouTube, I do my research, right? Even my prison channels, my content about prison, right? Some of these are not firsthand experience, right? Or even somebody that was there. It's all from documents, reports, right? But then again, reading reports and listening from somebody that was actually there is totally different, right? It's always better to hear it from somebody that was there. So, yes, some of my stories might not be completely accurate because I'm basing my information off documents that have been posted by somebody else, right? And my whole truth to it, but that's why there's always people that have been there that can correct you, right? And can open dialogue with you and be like, look, you put that story out there, man, but this is the way it happened, really. And then you can go back and correct it, man. Be like, hey, this is the update, man. It's everything's. But you have to go with facts. You need facts. What did Jonathan Schwartz say? Man, I did the old school detective journalism, boots to the ground. He brought facts to where he could call Mark a serial rapist, right? He can call him that. Exploiter of vulnerable, weak person for his own sexual and monetary gain. The same thing that Jonathan Schwartz says about Mark, you can simplify it and put Dante in that same category. Because Dante gaslights, he grooms, he intimidates. So, what is grooming? When you tell somebody, hey, I'm going to call you, man, look, this is what you do, this is what you. It's grooming and coercion, right? It's grooming. So, everything that Mark is doing, Dante is doing it just in different environments, right? And you can say that most of the people in prison, let's say some of them do deserve to get the game ran on them, right? Let's just say that, right? Because they're already in prison. They're in prison for one reason or another, right? So you can kind of say, hey, man, it is what it is. It's justice, right? Hey, they shouldn't have got themselves in trouble. But now Dante's running this shit on innocent bystanders, innocent civilians, right? Because this is what YouTube is. everybody that's a subscriber in the audience or a content creator, 9 out of 10 times is a civilian. I consider myself a civilian. I don't consider myself uh, no gangbanger or this and that. I came out here with my name, Noel. That's my real name. Uh, I didn't come in here hiding my face. I didn't come out here other than Noel. So uh, when you start aligning yourself with people I don't align with, I have to distance myself. Right. I have to distance myself. It's like you, God Soldier, you aligned yourself with Dante in June. You called them your friends. Why would I align myself with you? Why? Why? So just because I left the scene, you're supposed to align with the ops. Is that what you're saying, God Soldier? So just because I left at the scene, you couldn't pick up the baton and torch and run with it. I left a pretty good foundation. All right. So that means okay, I out of sight, out of mind. Why not continue? Why align yourself with the people that were doxing you, that were harassing you? The same tactics they did to me, why would I align myself with them guys? Right? Why would I entertain them? Why would I even go to their live? Why? That's like me. I don't even watch y'all's live. I don't even watch it. Believe it or not, I don't. I'm not in the comments. I'm not. Because y'all are not worth it. Y'all don't have anything of substance and value. Especially now. Now y'all do. Now y'all do. Because now, like I said, nature takes its course and shows people's true colors. Right? Everybody did a 180. Everybody suddenly flipped over to the dark side. So what happened standing on your own and being like, you know what? I believe what Mark did. I'm not gonna go align or even entertain myself with the same people that were harassing me and doxing me. Because just like I said it before, can you imagine how hard Dante was writing for Mark? Do you know how many messages how many comments I was getting of I live in Grand Prairie? I live in Grand Prairie. Do you know how many threats I was getting from so many accounts? All for what? Deception, manipulation to defend Mark? To say Mark wasn't innocent? So my life could have been jeopardized, right? Because Dante was spewing so much hate and saying Mark was innocent that I'm a racist, that it must be because I'm Mexican and Mark is black. So a guy like Albiz, a FBA, they could have driven up here and tried to take a shot at me. Why? Because they already hate me because I'm Mexican and I'm going against their brothers. Who am I? Y'all don't see that, right? Or I could have crashed out, right? I could have crashed out. I could have driven up to Opelika, or I could have driven up to fucking Michigan, right? I could have crashed out, right? All for what? That's what pisses me off, that these guys are playing with people's lives, right? And I know what comes when you play with people's lives. You don't play with people's lives. That's something you can't get up and go buy at the store, right? You can't just get up one day and say, I'm gonna go buy a life. That's it. So why play with it? Why put people against people to come back around and flip flop? That's how you know Dante has never been in the prison organization or any kind of gang organization. Because your own members will tell you, bro, we done lost members because of this shit. Homeboys done got locked up for this move. And now you're saying we're backing up from that? We're backtracking? That would have been your end, that would have been your own demise. So before you make calls that you're not gonna be 10 toes down, don't make them. Stay out of it. That tells me you've never been in no type of position of, even being in charge of 2, 3 people, your homeboys, your crew. That tells me you were not the leader of your crew. Everybody grew up with the crew. A handful of guys that you grew up, and you weren't the head of that. You don't have to be the head of your crew just by being physically the most, right? I had bigger dudes listening to me, man, right? Why? Because they're just what you would call shooters. They're not mentally stable, and especially when they're intoxicated, they're worse, right? They're useless. They're just shooters. There's more shooters than people that can analyze. And this kind of sucks. If I'm gonna get back with you, because my phone's about to die right now, man. It's already at 2%. I'm gonna let it charge, and I'm gonna come back with y'all, man, and chop it up with some more, man. Because I mean, there's too many people going at it for no reason, man. Everybody lost track of what the real reason was for, and that reason was for the victims, man. Everybody made it about me, 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 me. I even lost track about it, right? And that was because I was fucking defending myself, defending myself. And I got to the point where, like, man, it's like you're defending on fucking fake stuff. Why even pay attention, man? It's like they don't want to know the truth, because if they wanted to know the truth, they'll do their homework like you did your homework, and they'll bring evidence and paperwork and be like, explain this, explain that. But they don't do that. I just thought, you know, for me, it was always about the victims, man. For them poor dudes not to be getting their shit tore up. It's sad, man, because some of these guys are fathers. Just imagine these guys coming out, having kids, and then catching a disease. Look at poor old Hips, man. Poor old Hips has a lesion on his face, right? We all know where those lesions, we can all assume where those lesions can come from, right? But that lesion never heals. It never heals. So just imagine an 18-year-old guy, 19-year-old kid with a 1-year-old, 2-year-old kid at home, 2, 3 years, gets tied down, gets infected. You imagine the living torture that guy's going to be living in, man. You have to have some kind of eye care, man. Just me thinking about that shit just hurts my heart, man. Because nobody should go through that. Nobody, man. And somebody like Dante having a big ass platform, And somebody that was called himself righteous, he should have did the right thing from the beginning. But all he did was just confirm that he was no different than Mark. And they're exploitative, the vulnerable, and the weak. All for monetary and self gain, right? Self monetary gain, self possessions. What was Mark's? Zuzus and Wham Whams? Dante wants Lambos and Dubai vacations at the expense of exploiting the weak.